belonged to my mother's sister, Clare Hollingworth, who was, in her time, a rather well-known war correspondent.
She was very well known, wasn't she, when she had the scoop of the century?
She was indeed.
So she found herself, or rather maybe positioned herself, in Poland in 1939. She must have had a real sort of nose for a good story, mustn't she?
The woman whose case this was had been a working journalist for barely a week when she filed the story of the century. Clare Hollingworth was born in 1911, and in the last days of August 1939, driving along the German-Polish frontier, she saw what no other reporter had, lines of tanks and armour drawn up under camouflage, waiting. Her dispatch was the first warning the world had that the Second World War was about to begin. She went on reporting from the front lines for half a century, broke the news that the British spy Kim Philby had defected to Moscow, and died in Hong Kong in 2017 at the age of 105.
And a very difficult thing to value. I think that the collection as a whole is worth several £1,000s. I think one thing's certain, that this case and these passports are witness to a really significant war correspondent of the 20th century.
Absolutely amazing, yeah.
Well, I was given it by my father-in-law in the 70s. I know it had been given to him, I think, by an aunt. And everything he did or said or loved, it was done with great style. As a result of having loved him so much, it means an enormous amount to me.
The name stamped on the back of this brooch belongs to one of the great Paris jewellery houses. Le Cloche Frères was the work of four Spanish brothers who set up in the French capital in the late 19th century, and through the 1920s they stood shoulder to shoulder with Cartier and Boucheron as masters of Art Deco design. The shimmering wings on these little birds are worked in pliqué dur enamel, a method with no metal behind the glass, so the light passes straight through the colour like a miniature stained glass window. It is the kind of fine, fragile work that has made the brothers' name quietly sought after a century on.
The appeal of this would be universal. I think this would make £6,000 to £8,000.
Thank you.
You've watched hundreds of these moments. The ordinary object. The jaw-dropping value. But here's the question we never ask: what's sitting in your home? You don't have to wait for the roadshow to come to your town. In seconds, Velcro tells you what it is, when it was made, and what it could be worth. It's like having the roadshow in your pocket. Open the App Store and search Velcro. VELQO. Or point your phone at the screen. You might be sitting on a fortune.
My only problem is I never know how to pronounce him.
His name is Jan Akeringa.
Perfect. Well, now I know, but I'll try and pronounce Akeringa.
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 That's it.
Oh my goodness, it's so complicated. I believe he was born in 1860.
Yes.
And he died, I think, in about 1942.
I think so, yes.
Then he...
What you are looking at is a small piece of a great Dutch revival. From the 1860s onwards, a group of painters working around The Hague turned away from the sharp, almost photographic detail of their 17th century forebears and went out to the coast at Scheveningen to paint the fishing beaches in broad, silvery strokes. They were chasing the particular light of the North Sea, low, grey and luminous, and the mood of ordinary working life on the sand. Painters such as Joseph Israels and the three Meris brothers led the way, and within a generation they had carried Dutch painting, for the first time in 2 centuries, back to the front rank of European art.
Well, that makes two of us. No, actually, I think I know. Well, I think something like this, if it appeared at auction, would make between £7,000 and £10,000. That sort of price, which is a lot.
Was the leader of the suffrage movement, the constitutional suffrage movement, which was passionate about votes for women, but believed it should be done legally, constitutionally, and peacefully. And she devoted, in effect, her entire life from the age...
Millicent Fawcett spent more than 50 years on the cause this jewel celebrates, and she did it without ever breaking a single window. Born in 1847, she led the National Union of Women's Suffrage Societies, the constitutional wing of the campaign, which believed the vote would be won by argument and persuasion rather than by the smashed glass and hunger strikes of the militant suffragettes. She lived just long enough to see women win the vote on the same terms as men. And 90 years after that, in 2018, she became the first woman ever honoured with a statue in Parliament Square, holding a banner that reads, "Courage calls to courage everywhere."
And I would say, because of what it represents, I would say you would be looking in the region of 25,000, 30,000.
So how old was your mother when she was recruited as a spy?
21.
And she was given false papers, and we've got
Yes.
a copy of the false papers here. And what was the false name she was given?
Corinne Leroy,
Corinne Leroy.
my grandmother's surname.
And so her job was to go behind enemy lines in France to help the French resistance.
Yes, her first mission was in April of 44, and she managed to persuade the resistance to bomb a viaduct near Rouen, which was bringing equipment and all the rest of it from Germany. And that was highly successful, but extremely dangerous.
Of course, and she was living this double life, in fear of being discovered at any moment.
Absolutely.
Violette Szabo was captured in the summer of 1944 after a gun battle in central France. She was taken first to Paris, then east to the Ravensbrück concentration camp, where she was executed early the following year, at the age of 23. In 1946 she was awarded the George Cross, the highest civilian honour for gallantry, and one only a small handful of women have ever received. Her little daughter, Tanya, not yet 5 years old, collected the medal from the King at Buckingham Palace. Her story would reach millions in the 1958 film Carve Her Name with Pride, and the original cross she earned now rests, as you are about to hear, in the Imperial War Museum.
They are very valuable.
Yes.
At auction it sold for £260,000. And you sold it because you needed the money for it, I imagine.
Before you go, a quick word that could save you from a costly mistake. Every week, treasures like the ones you just watched are sold at car boot and yard sales for pennies by people who simply didn't know what they had. Don't let that be you. With Velcro, just snap a photo of anything in your home, and in seconds you'll know what it really is and what it's really worth. And it's completely free. Point your phone's camera at the code on screen now, or search the App Store for Velcro, VELQO, before you let it go.